Welcome to the mini masterclass series. In these videos, I'm going to give you practical information that you can apply to your business to move the process forward quickly and predictably onboard new clients. By the way, stay tuned to the very end of the video, the training video. It's going to go to my calendar for those who watch the entire video for a sales and marketing analysis that will be 20 minutes. So watch the training. It's about to come up. At the end of that video, the video will automatically go to my calendar for a 20-minute sales and marketing analysis. Schedule that. There'll be a form to fill out. After you schedule the meeting, we'll have a 20-minute conversation. I can identify the problems you're having in your sales process, in your marketing strategy, and give you a clear path forward. Now, for today's training video, if you are following up more than 10% of the time, your process is broken. The secret is not in the follow-up. Today, I'm going to talk about how you can reduce your sales cycle by 50% and increase your closing percentage simply by getting clear next steps. Now, maybe you've heard this before and you may think, yes, I get clear next steps. I have talked to thousands of people since starting my business in 2016. I can't think of one that consistently gets clear next steps. And because of that, their sales cycle is elongated. And as their sales cycle gets elongated, the people that are prospective clients that they think they're going to onboard as new clients, they lose. So let's define a clear next step to make sure we have this correct. Every time you end a conversation, you should have a time, a date in each other's calendar. It's agreed upon before you end the conversation, and you know who's doing what when. They have skin in the game, you have skin in the game. Really important. It's not you chasing after them, because the more you follow up, the more you diminish yourself in their eyes. The more you follow up, the less they see you as an authority. You have to, let me give you a guiding principle. You have to be the authority that guides and directs the conversation. Otherwise, it will end up a mess for you and for them. Not only are you the authority in delivering your solution, you have to be the authority in guiding and directing the sales process. When you bring those together, it's a dynamic duel. Okay? So ending a conversation, get a clear next step. This is what happens many times. Chaz, great conversation, really interested in what you have. We need to think it over. Okay. How long do you need to think it over for? Maybe a few days. Could you follow up at that time, Chaz? Bob, would it be okay with you to save both of us time so we don't have to go back and forth a few days from now, to put a time date in the calendar, even if it's for 5 minutes, just for a check-in call? Maybe you haven't decided, or maybe you have additional questions. Would that be okay with you? Now, doing it that way, if they're interested, they're going to schedule the next meeting, okay? My clients that do this reduce their sales cycle by 50%, and their onboarding percentage, their closing percentage goes up. Why? Because the longer in between your conversations, the least likely it is that they're going to become your client. You need to shorten the sales cycle, and you need to have the conversation succinct, going from one point to the next to the next. Let me give you a guiding principle. You can't serve your prospective clients at the highest level unless they become your clients. Your prospective clients, your prospects at the highest level unless they become your clients. And if you allow them to control the conversation, it's going to end up a mess for you and for them. So you need to be the authority, not only in delivering your solution, you need to be the authority in guiding and directing the conversation. Not authoritarian, but the authority. So let me give you some tips on how to execute this. You may have caught that. If not, let me walk you through it succinctly. First and foremost, the first step in our sales process is the intention to serve. I combine that with you can't serve your prospect at the highest level unless they become your client. And I also combine the guiding principle is if you allow them to control the conversation, it will end up a mess for you and for them. So go with the intention to serve, knowing that you have to control the conversation as the authority, not authoritarian, and you have to use the right tactic with the right technique. The tactic is a strategy. A clear next step is a strategy that ensures the conversation continues succinctly from one conversation to the next, from one meeting to the next. A technique is how you deliver the tactic. Did you catch how I said this earlier? So they end the conversation. Sally says to me, Chaz, I appreciate the information. Good, we need to think about it. Can you follow up in a few days? Sally, how long do you need to think it over? You said a few days, maybe the end of the week, possibly Friday. Would it be okay with you, Sally, if we scheduled a time on 1 o'clock on Friday to eliminate the need for me to follow up and then you to get back to save both of us some time? Would that be okay with you? If you frame it in a way that makes sense for them, eliminating going back and forth, saving both of us time, 90% of the time they're going to schedule it, unless they're not interested and they're just blowing smoke by saying, yeah, Chaz, follow up. And you know prospects never do that, right? So remember this. Always end each and every conversation with a clear next step. Time, date, in each other's calendar, agreed upon it in each other's calendar. You know who's doing what when. They have skin in the game. It's not you chasing them. If you do this, your sales cycle will reduce by 50%. On average, that's what my clients do. And your closing percentage will go up because guess what? You're not going to lose those people where you're following up and following up and following up, and you're diminishing how people see you because you're losing your authority by continuing to follow up. Clear next step, do it. Stay tuned.